But we start with our Newsmaker segment and welcome an incoming member of the Kansas City, Missouri City Council. Kevin O'Neill was elected at large and without opposition to represent the 1st District. Kevin runs the Labor Beacon newspaper and is part of a family with a long record of service in the Kansas City civic and political communities. Kevin O'Neill, welcome to Ruckus.
Thank you, Mike.
Great to see you again.
Great to be here.
Been a long time.
Has been. 40 years,
You worked at a radio station where I worked some years back.
Yes.
You have a busy career at the newspaper. Why run for the city council?
You know, I've followed politics in Kansas City for a long time. In fact, my father was in politics in the 60s and 70s. My brother's been in it in the 80s and 90s. And going back to 1916, my great-grandfather, John Patrick O'Neill, was the 1st District City Councilman in Kansas City, Missouri. So we have a rich history of politics. I've never been in front of the camera with politics, so this is my first foray into that. But I'm 63 years old. I really believe I can make a difference. I'm never going to be the smartest guy in the room, but I feel like I can make decisions and I'm logical.
Are you going to continue to run the newspaper?
I am. My wife's retired and she's going to do more of the work than I do, and she'll probably make it a much better paper.
How would you describe the Labor Beacon? What exactly is it?
I go out, I have about 30,000 subscribers that are all in unions, and they're union members, and they work in all the different fields. And I cover issues that face them. I cover the legislature, whether it's in Jeff City or in Topeka, City Hall in both KCK and Kansas City, Missouri. So pretty much politics has become such an issue within labor that's probably my leading topics.
Is it fair and balanced?
No.
It's slanted toward the labor viewpoint?
Towards labor because there isn't a slant there.
Sure.
This is the only, I never
At
pretend.
least you admit it, and
yes.
you say it openly.
I don't pretend to be a subjective reporter. I'm objective.
Well, when you have a paper called the Labor Beacon, you expect it to represent
You're not going to highlight
viewpoint.
CEOs.
And on that basis, because your background is so labor-oriented, do you see your role on the council as labor's representative, or do you have to have a broader perspective?
Oh, I think I have to have a broader perspective, but I always look at labor as a barometer. When labor is involved in an industry, wages are better. When you take that barometer out, it gets lower and lower. And so I consider what I do for all working people, because you need the labor unions to keep the non-union people's wages up.
Is this a good time for labor in Kansas City?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the work around town, especially in the building and construction trades, is great with the airport and with the Cerner project and the multitude of work going on downtown. Yeah, this is good time for labor.
During the campaign, a lot of talk about stopping the tax incentives, the TIFs, for big ticket developments. But those big developments supply a lot of work for people in labor unions and people who aren't in labor unions. So that's kind of a mixed bag, isn't it?
Well, ironically, unions don't get a lot of that work. A lot of that incentive work doesn't have prevailing wage on it. And when there is no prevailing wage on a project, it gets more difficult for labor unions to get that work. I think, I'm on the board of the PIEA, which is a commission that grants abatements. And my problem is not giving abatements out to corporations or big companies and big buildings and flashy new stuff. My problem is the incentives they give out to projects that are just not worthy of it. And I'll use the one on 47th and Bellevue as an example. It goes downhill into the plaza. That, to me, is not worthy of a tax incentive because it's right near the plaza. I think geography is something that we have to look at more importantly, as well as what the definition of blight is.
KCI is in your district, is it not?
No, it is in the 2nd district, but I'm at large.
Okay,
so.
The 1st district is what, the East Bottoms and the eastern part of Northlands?
It's Clay County, pretty much bordered by I-35 going up north and North Oak going up north.
And what are people concerned about? What did you hear? I know you didn't have to run against anybody, but I'm sure you talked to voters during the campaign.
I think during the last 2 years, the biggest issue has been trash. I live up there. They don't pick up our trash on time. Jim's the subcontractor for that project is just not doing the job. So I think the idea of bringing that in-house was huge for especially the Northland residents.
You getting ready to get rolling with the council?
I am. I had dinner with Quentin last night, and I'm so excited about his vision and what
That's
he.
mayor to you.
I'm sorry, Mayor-elect.
Anyway, Kevin, it's great to see you
Thank you,
again.
sir.
Congratulations on your victory. I hope you have a good time on the council. Look forward to you coming back from time to time and filling us in. Great.
I appreciate you having
All
me.
right, sir. That is incoming Kansas City, Missouri Councilman Kevin O'Neill. Now let's meet the panel and start a ruckus.